Hi, I'm Batsheva Frankel from Overthrowing Education, a part of the Education Podcast Network, just like the show you're listening to now. Shows on the network are individually owned, and opinions expressed may not reflect others. Find other interesting education podcasts at edupodcastnetwork.com.
Coming up on episode 217 of the House of EdTech, we're going to talk about collaboration versus competition. I'm going to talk about a new way to save those old, beat-up, outdated computers. And it's 2023. Do not fear EdTech. Strike up the band. Welcome to the House of EdTech. My name is Chris Nesi. The House of EdTech launched in 2014, giving me the opportunity to speak with teachers, leaders, and creators so you can more effectively integrate technology, strengthen your pedagogy, and have more confidence in your classroom and school so you can make an impact. Get involved with the podcast by visiting my website, chrisnesi.com. Using technology isn't difficult, and this is where it begins. This is the House of EdTech. And 2023 is in full swing. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is episode 217. If you are a returning listener, welcome back. If you're a brand new listener, welcome aboard. There's only 216 episodes that came before this one, and you have plenty of time to catch up. Very excited for this episode because I think it's time to hit the reset button just a little bit, because it's been a while since I've talked about being afraid and why you shouldn't be afraid. So January is as good a time as any to reset things and work on the foundation as we continue to build up what we do here in education and what the House of EdTech can do for you. So we're going to do that today because it is 2023. We are, I did an episode a couple of years ago about, the baloney that is future ready. And we are well past the point of preparing kids for jobs that don't exist yet. And, we have to be ready to do 21st century learning. We're almost a quarter of the way into this century. If you're not ready for 21st century learning and teaching, what are you doing? Let's get into this episode. I want to give a little shout out first and foremost to awesome supporter Dan Gallagher. He is at Gallagher_tech on Twitter, and he shared this on Twitter after listening to episode 216. Dan says, quote, "Just listen to episode 216. I believe there is a fifth item to asking for help. Be willing to answer the call for help. This will help you better ask for help and will show others you look to be collaborative in learning and growing in the education together." Thank you, Dan. That is an extension of my EdTech Thought, where I talked about the importance and the value of teachers asking for help and not being afraid to ask for help. And I gave some tips on asking for help. And Dan, you bring up a great point here about being willing to answer when people ask for help. Obviously, that's something that you do. That's something that I do. And I'm sure you who's listening also is willing to help. So good thought, Dan. I appreciate that. That's important. It's one thing to ask, but people who are asked to help also need to be willing to help. And I hope that everybody who listens to this podcast, including you, is always willing to help somebody else. I have just one more item before we get into this episode's EdTech Thought, and that is PodcastPD is back, baby. AJ and I are preparing for episode 124, Tips for New Teachers. I'm recording this episode of the House of EdTech on January 28th. This new episode of PodcastPD will be live streamed on Sunday, January 29th at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. If you are listening to this after January 29th, here's what you do. You go to podcastpd.com/go and you subscribe to the podcast and you make PodcastPD a part of your anytime, anywhere professional development. And AJ and I are very excited to be back in the saddle after a few months away with a little bit of a different flavor to PodcastPD. but the PodcastPD train rolls on. All right, enough updates. Let's get into the meat and the potatoes. But first, I guess we're going to do the potatoes. EdTech Thought time. Here we go. Collaboration is a key component of success in today's world, and it's especially important in the field of education and education technology. When we collaborate with others, we are able to share ideas, learn from one another, and create something that is greater than what any one person could do alone. Competition, on the other hand, that often leads to division and animosity. When we focus on competing with others, we tend to see them as adversaries rather than partners. We become so focused on winning that we forget that everyone has something to contribute. In education, it's especially important to collaborate with other people because the field is constantly evolving. New technologies and approaches are emerging all the time, and it's impossible for any one person to keep up with everything, although I try. But by working together, we can pool our knowledge and our expertise to create better tools, better resources, better classrooms and schools for our students and for people like you and me who teach. In addition, collaboration helps us to create a more inclusive and diverse learning environment. When we work together, we are able to tap into the unique perspectives and the unique experiences of each individual. This leads to more innovative and effective solutions, and it also helps to break down barriers and promote understanding among different groups of people. Ultimately, the choice between collaboration and competition is a choice between building something together or tearing each other down. By choosing to collaborate, we can create something that is truly greater than the sum of its parts. And that's my EdTech thought. For this episode's EdTech recommendation, I want to talk about ChromeOS Flex. ChromeOS Flex is a cloud-based operating system for PCs and Macs that aims to provide a fast, easy-to-manage, and secure computing experience. It is designed to be a sustainable way to modernize outdated devices that you already own, and it can be deployed across your inventory with minimal downtime. One of the key features of ChromeOS Flex is its fast boot time, which ensures that devices don't slow down over time and can update in the background. Additionally, it offers fast access to web apps with intuitive, clutter-free, and reliable experiences. ChromeOS Flex is also designed to be easy to deploy and manage. It can be installed across your inventory via USB or over your network, and a user's settings and policies will sync to devices almost instantly. The Google Admin Console can also be used to manage updates and configure policies remotely. In terms of security, ChromeOS Flex uses blocked executables and sandboxing technology to eliminate the need for antivirus software. IT controls also prevent data loss on lost or stolen devices. By deploying ChromeOS Flex, you can refresh older devices with a modern OS and extend their lifespan to reduce your e-waste. Additionally, it's a more energy efficient, sustainable solution that will experience a lower cost of ownership. You can try ChromeOS Flex by using a USB drive and following the setup instructions. It's a good option to consider if you are looking to accelerate your cloud-first OS deployment, or if you want to try modern computing with cloud-based management on existing devices. Additionally, ChromeOS Flex can be deployed on purpose-built hardware for specialized use like kiosks or maybe digital signage. But the real big picture here is, if you've got older devices in your school, you can consider something like ChromeOS Flex on older Windows devices or Apple devices, the desktops really, to basically give them Google Chrome and the Chrome OS and turn them into Chromebooks, Chrome desktops. It is fantastic. And if you want to learn more, then you are going to want to go to the website I have linked in the show notes, which is kind of convoluted, but I'll still say it. ChromeEnterprise.google/os/ChromeOS Flex. Don't worry if you didn't write it down. It is a swipe or a tap away in the show notes on the player you're listening to. Tap ChromeOS Flex or go out to chrisnessy.com/217 and check it out today. And that's my EdTech recommendation. Let's be honest. As a teacher, as an educator, regardless of your years of experience, using technology in your classroom can be intimidating, right? It's natural to feel overwhelmed or unsure of where to start. But it's important to remember that incorporating technology benefits you and it benefits your students. Here are some tips for overcoming that fear that we all experience, myself included. And hopefully, you'll be able to more confidently use technology while you are teaching. Number 1, start small and build up gradually. You don't need to completely overhaul your teaching approach to integrate technology. Begin by using 1 or 2 tech tools in your lesson plans and gradually add more as you become more comfortable. By beginning with 1 or 2 tech tools, you can really focus on mastering those tools and understanding how they can enhance your teaching. As you become more comfortable and confident with using technology, you can gradually add more tools. This approach allows you to make a smooth transition and avoid overwhelming yourself or overwhelming your students. It also allows you to elevate the effectiveness of each tool and make informed decisions about which tools to continue using and which tools to stop using. It also allows you to have more gradual learning curves rather than a steep one. Obviously, that can be very beneficial for both you and your kids. Number 2, take advantage of free resources and training. There are many free online resources such as tutorials, webinars, and even podcasts that can help you learn how to use technology in your classroom. Take the time to explore these resources and learn as much as you can. These resources can help you learn how to use different software, apps, and other tools that can be used in your classroom. By exploring the resources and learning as much as you can gain the knowledge and the skills needed to effectively integrate technology into your teaching. These resources are often free and easily accessible. So, last time I checked, free is a very cost-effective way to learn and improve your tech skills. It's a great way to stay updated with the latest tech tools that you can use to enhance your teaching. And that's ultimately going to make for a more interactive and engaging learning environment for your students. Number 3, ask for help and support. I talked last episode about not being afraid to ask for help and gave you some tips about why you should. So don't be afraid to reach out to other teachers or tech experts for help and advice. Chances are they have faced similar challenges and can provide valuable insights and support. For example, I meet with people all the time about how to podcast in their schools and in their classrooms. I'm willing to do that. I'll talk about a whole bunch of other stuff too. But that's really, right now, my bread and my butter. So collaborate with other teachers because it's a great way to learn about new tech tools and strategies. Maybe you're that person in your school who is like me. Or maybe you know the person in your school who's like me. Go talk to them. Go have Wired Wednesday or Tech Taco Tuesday or Potty in the PD, whatever they call it. Seek help and support from other people who you feel comfortable and confident talking to. Also, reach out to those people who you know are using technology in their classrooms. That's a great way to learn. Go observe, go sit in on a class. It's a great way to overcome any challenges or roadblocks that you might encounter. Again, if you need any tips for asking for help, I talked about this in my EdTech Thought in episode 216. Number 4, create a safe and supportive learning environment. It almost seems silly to elaborate on that, but I will, because it's important to create a classroom culture where students feel comfortable experimenting with technology and taking risks. Encourage a growth mindset and remind your students that it is okay to make mistakes as they learn. You might have to be willing to do that too. This can be achieved by fostering this growth mindset and reminding students that it's okay to make mistakes when they learn. Encourage your students to try new things. Remind them, and you might have to remind yourself, that it's a natural part of the learning process. When people feel safe to take risks and make mistakes, they are more likely to engage with technology and use it as a tool for learning. This environment will also promote creativity, critical thinking, and problem solving. Students will be more likely to take ownership of their learning, which is key to achieving success. That's something we all want. We want our kids to buy in. By creating this safe and supportive environment, you are setting the stage for students to be active learners and to make the most of the technology tools available to them. Number 5, and this is the last one, embrace the benefits of technology. Use technology in the classroom because it can help engage students, foster collaboration, and improve the learning outcomes. It can also make your job easier and more efficient. We're going to talk about efficiency in our next episode. Keep these benefits in mind as you incorporate tech into your teaching. When you do, you're going to use technology because you see the value in it. You're going to make informed decisions about which tools to use and how to use them. Technology can help make the classroom more interactive, engaging, and dynamic. And this can all lead to a better experience for your students. It can also provide your students with new ways to access and process information and to communicate and collaborate with their peers. Technology can also make your job more efficient. By providing an access to a wealth of resources and tools and data, you can improve the teaching process. By embracing the benefits of technology, you can make the most of it and you can use it to enhance the learning and be more efficient. EdTech doesn't have to be scary. Incorporating technology into your teaching can be done by starting small and building up gradually. Take advantage of free resources and training. Ask for help and support. And create a safe and supportive environment and embrace those benefits. Remember, by starting small, you can focus on mastering a few tools and gradually add more as you get comfortable. Take advantage of those free resources. Help yourself learn how to use the tech tools. Ask for help if you need it. And again, be supportive and make your room a safe space to experiment and grow. If you have other thoughts on not being afraid of education technology, I would love to hear them. Make sure that you share this episode with somebody else. The show notes are at chrisnessy.com/217. And now, let's give it a try. Are you passionate about education technology and looking for a community of like-minded individuals to connect with? Well, look no further than the House of EdTech Discord community. Our community is dedicated to discussing the latest trends and developments in education technology and how they can be used to improve the learning experience for students and educators alike. We also talk about the podcast, and it's a great way for you and me to be connected. By joining our community, you'll have the opportunity to connect with other educators and thought leaders, share your own insights and experiences, and you can stay up to date on the latest EdTech news and trends. So what are you waiting for? Join the House of EdTech Podcast Discord community today and become part of the conversation shaping the future of education technology. It's easy and free to join. Go to chrisnessy.com/discord. I can't wait to have you as a member of the community. Thank you for listening to this episode of the House of EdTech. If you are not subscribed or following, I hope that you'll continue to make this podcast a part of your anytime, anywhere professional development. If you want to get the most value out of the House of EdTech, check out the show notes for this episode. You'll find links to all the resources that were mentioned in the episode. This is a great way to deepen your understanding of the topics and take your learning to the next level. Be sure to visit chrisnessy.com/217. I love hearing from my listeners, and I value your feedback and your perspectives. If you have thoughts or questions about recent episodes or any other topic related to education and technology, don't be shy. Email me, feedback@chrisnessy.com, or you can leave me a voicemail at chrisnessy.com/voicemail. Your input and feedback helps me to better create content and improve the show. So I encourage you to reach out and share your thoughts with me. I can't wait to hear from you. If you know someone who might benefit from listening to the show, please share it with them. You can easily share a link to the podcast on social media or through word of mouth. Your support helps me reach more people and continue to bring you great content. Thank you for helping me spread the word about the House of EdTech. If you get value from the podcast and want to give back, you can become an awesome supporter. As a thank you, I will shout you out at the end of every episode. I understand that not everyone can, and I am grateful for your support in any form. But for those who can, it does go a long way to help me continue providing valuable and informative content for this community. I am very thankful for my current awesome supporters: Jeff Herb, Peggy George, Dan Gallagher, Mike Messner, Matt Miller, Patty Reefus, Kyle Wilcox, Catherine Abdallah, Brian Carpenter, and Erin Cummings. If you want to give back, you can become an awesome supporter by visiting chrisnessy.com/awesome. The next episode of the House of EdTech is, of course, going to be episode 218. The title of that episode? It's finally here. How is AI changing the way we teach? It's going to come your way on February 12th, 2023. You don't want to miss it. And I invite you to share your thoughts with me on AI and education. So leave that voicemail, send that email, and let me know what you think. Be part of the show. Until next time, thank you for learning with me. And remember, using technology isn't difficult. Just give it a try.